What's going on, people? And this is my match recap and player ratings from yesterday's game, FA Cup, Manchester United versus Aston Villa, finishing 1 Manchester United, Aston Villa 0. Overall, delighted with a win. Performance-wise, though, again, not very convinced. Midfield, we struggled a lot again. Villa obviously scoring a few goals, but getting disallowed for offsides, so we got away with that. And we've got to go to them in the league next, which is going to be an even tougher game than last night's because we're away. And you can argue that our form away is better than our home form, but with our fans behind them, and Gerrard will want revenge now even more so from that result last night. And they did score some goals against us. They were just disallowed. They're going to be up for it and they're going to be hungry. And I just don't think we got the players to... Maybe we will get another win. Maybe we'll get a draw. But for me, they're going to really go for us now. So it's going to be an even tougher game, I think, in the league. There was a couple of players that I thought, or maybe 3, that stood out more than the rest of the team. Line-up-wise, I think he did an okay job, but again, the midfield, McTominay and Fred specifically, look, the goal comes from them, but I think after that, their performances dropped a lot again, and I don't think they're of the quality we need. So, look, and there's a few attackers that I thought let us down again as well. So, we're getting to the ratings, but, I mean, delighted with a win, but it's still not convincing. And I think that we're way off it in terms of bigger teams, but even the teams around us, like the Villas, like the Brightons, the West Hams, and I know Villa are lower in the league than us, but that doesn't matter. Football, you have to turn up on the day and prove it, and I think that too many times we're getting calls for us and decisions that are getting us out of jail that sometimes we don't even deserve. So I do think that happened a lot yesterday as well. But getting to the player ratings, David De Gea, I'd give a 6. I thought he made numerous good saves again. I don't think it was his best game, but it wasn't his worst, and I think he did a good job. So he's one of the few that stood out to me. I'd give him a 6, above average. Delo, I thought, was bright again, attacking wise, tried to get forward, but it didn't really happen. Defensively, I don't think he was too bad. I thought he had an average game. I still prefer him to Aaron Wan-Bissaka though, so I'm glad he played, but I'd like to see him in the league game against Villa. But I got a feeling that Aaron Wan-Bissaka might come in for the league game. But I would keep Delo there. I thought he had an average game yesterday. Nothing too great, nothing too wrong either. So a 5 for Delo. Lindelof would give a 4. There was a few mistakes he made. Off the top of my head, I can't quite remember, but I think one of them might have led to a goal possibly. But he did look shaky to me, and it's kind of understandable though, because I feel like he's been out with the COVID stuff and all the palpitation stuff he was having, and it's his first game back. So I'm not too concerned about that because I feel like he will bounce back, but yesterday was just a bit rusty. So Lindelof, I'd give him a 4. Varane was another one that stood out for me yesterday. I don't think he put a foot wrong, didn't really make any mistakes. I thought he was good on the ball, tried to get forward a few times and affect play and start moves off, and I thought he was good defensively. So Varane for me would get a 6. Luke Shaw, I'd give an average. I thought he, similar to Delo, tried to get forward at times. Defensively did okay, so I just think an average performance for him. 5. McTominay, I'd give a 5. Obviously he scores the header, very well placed header, but you kind of expect that from someone of his size. He needs to be doing that more. I think he had a okay first half. Some of the passes and that he done I thought were alright, but defensively poor again, and I think after the goal it dropped off quite a bit. But I'm going to be a little bit maybe kind to him. I would give him an average, but I could see if people give him below average after the performance he put in after the goal. So, but for me, I'd give McTominay an average of a 5. Fred, I'd give a 4 to. Obviously, he gets the assist with a cross for the goal, but again, misplaced passing, weak on the ball, getting pushed off the ball too easily, unforced errors with little pressure again, and they just don't have that creativity as much as I would like. In the attacking sense, yes, the goal comes from them both, but defensively all over the place and not strong enough. So a 4 for Fred. Greenwood, I thought had a really bad game yesterday. more for his selfishness. he got into positions numerous times. He had about 3-4 times where he cut in from the wing and got shots off, but probably all of them he should be passing the ball instead of shooting. Now, he's done it before and he gets goals from it, but when you're doing it consecutively in a game and it's not coming off at all and you're not getting a goal or an assist, it's not good. And I feel like so many times yesterday he should have laid the ball off to someone and he didn't. I think he went with the wrong option. So for me, I thought he had a poor game yesterday and he was very selfish. So Greenwood for me would get a 3. Bruno, a little bit up and down all through the game for me. I thought at times like he set off a move where he put the ball over for Rashford at one point, who ran in the box and should have squared it across goal to Greenwood at the far post, and he seemed to do neither of a shot or a cross and just got dealt with. But Bruno started that move off, so things like that were positive. But then at times, I think defensively he's getting caught out. He's not tracking back all the time. He's moaning a lot still. And he's putting a lot. He did a shot at one point on the edge of the box where he ran in and tried to hit it with the outside of his foot, and it just skied over. And I'm thinking, you need to hit that with your left foot. And he went with his stronger foot, but tried to be too clever with it, and it didn't work. So I don't think he had a great game. I'd give him a below average, and I'd give him a 4. Rashford, I thought was terrible. I think Greenwood was bad, but I think Rashford was worse. I give them both the same rating, but you could even give Rashford a 2. People keep saying he just needs to start doing the simple things right and that, and I agree with that. But how old is he now? Like, he's done this for years and he's not shown any like progression in that sense of simple little few yard balls that he's not even doing. He's running into people all the time trying to beat players like he's Messi. You're not. You're doing shots outside the box like you're Ronaldo. You're not. And it's never coming off. So I don't get it with Rashford, and I don't get the support and the backing he gets. Whether or not he's a Manchester boy, he should be irrelevant. It should be about the performances you put in on the pitch. I don't care about the off-field stuff you do, whether it's good or bad. I care about what you do on the pitch, and for me, he was atrocious last night. So for me, I give him the same as Greenwood, but maybe I should have given him a 2. But I think Greenwood was a better 3 than Rashford's 3. Rashford gets a 3, and he needs to be dropped, and I'd sell him because he's not doing it. And how many years is he going to get to try and get the opportunity and putting faith and belief in him, and he never delivers? So for me, Rashford, I'd sell him, or at least bench him, because he doesn't deserve to be playing. Or even someone said put him in the reserves. I agree with that as well, because we're not seeing it at all from him. And his body language is shocking. He looks like a child sulking. When he went off as well last night, he's on the bench looking like he's just been told that he's not having Christmas next year. Like, I don't get it. And for me, we don't need that around the club. 3 for Rashford. Cavani, again, disappointing for me. Didn't have a lot of service in his defence, but on the ball and stuff at times, I thought he was. I expect more from him, and I don't think we saw it again. So, bit of a graveyard shift, yes, but in the moments you do get on the ball, I expected a bit more as well. So, a 4 for Cavani, and then we had the subs of Donny, Lingard, and Alanga. I thought Donny did okay when he came on. Wasn't great. Bit of an average performance for me, so I'd give him a 5. But it was good to see him. He had about 20 minutes or so, didn't he? So it was good to see him getting a few minutes, but he needs more game time to see and be more certain on his performances from us giving his ratings and stuff. So he still needs more time, Donny, but at least he got a few minutes yesterday. Give him an average of a 5. Lingard, I thought was average when he came on. Didn't get on the ball a lot. And when he did, he didn't really do anything with it. So a 5 for Lingard. And Alanga was one of the bright sparks again for me. I thought he looked threatening when he came on. He offered width, he offered pace, and there was a point where he put a ball in the box and it didn't find its intended target, and they cleared, but it was positive. And that's the sort of thing we need to be seeing from Rashford and Greenwood on the wings. Whether or not they're natural wingers or not, it should be a basic to put a cross into the box now and again. Even if they don't change their game massively and they shoot more than they cross. But we're not even seeing crosses from them. So I thought Alanga looked good when he came on, and he was only on for a few minutes, and I still think he did more in those few minutes than Rashford and Greenwood combined. So Alanga, I'd give a 6. Ranić, I would give probably an average, maybe slightly above average because we got the win. But the McFred thing I don't get. I don't like the fact that Phil Jones was benched again. They're saying that I think he had a slight knock or something, but if that isn't the case and they're lying and they just dropped him, I don't agree with that. But the McFred thing's the main thing for me. I don't get why he plays them all the time because they're not good enough. So that's the only concern, really. We got the win. Wasn't that convincing, though. We're not doing the pressing off the ball. We still haven't seen that from that Palace performance. That in spells they did it. But at least we got the win. But it's just not convincing, and we never know. It just never feels like when we win games that we deserve to win it, and that's a problem. Because when you see the bigger teams, and even teams like Villa or Brighton or West Ham, or when you watch them and they win, most of the time it feels like they deserve them 3 points. And I know it was a cup game and it wasn't 3 points, but we still go through. But it doesn't feel like we deserve the wins we get, and that's a huge problem. So for me, man of the match, it could be De Gea, Varane, or even Elanga for me. I'm going to give it to Varane. I thought, as I said, he didn't put a foot wrong yesterday. I thought he was solid, didn't make mistakes on the ball. Tried to progress play as well and start moves off. And I thought he was very good. So for me, man of the match would be Raphael Varane. And look, we got Villa in the league, and I'm worried about it. So I'll speak to you guys soon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, your ratings, and what you thought of the game. And I'll speak to you guys soon.